Hi everybody, it's Mike Parati. I'm here Thursday. It's 1:35 in the afternoon, and I wanted to do this webcast to have answer any questions and responses that you guys have been posting on the discussion boards. Thank you so much for participating in this activity. I'm just going to read right down two computers. Pretty tech savvy today. Brian, opium was a major issue in China, but where else did it create issues? It's profitable traders, but what other cities face addiction to the drug? All the major cities in Europe, especially London and Paris. Opium was a huge problem. Again, in Victorian England specifically, it was really used for what thought would be medicinal purposes and what later would become addictions. So basically, major cities in Europe all would have significant opium problems, which was the result of the opium trade. And again, it would primarily be in the upper class early on because opium was expensive to get from China. Great question, Brian. Thank you. Gage, two questions. Why were alliance systems established, and what were Americans' reasons for joining an American alliance? Okay, the alliance system was created in late 1890s for the simple fact that they thought it would bring protection to each other. The thought was, with a bigger group of friends, you would be less apt to mess with anybody in that group. So it was actually created as a way to keep peace, and of course the result was it actually did the opposite. It brought people into conflicts that they normally wouldn't have. In terms of America, the debate is still out on why they chose to join the Triple Entente, but most historians seem to acknowledge two things. One, people were naturally prone in America to support the British. Second, three things. Second, that most of our trade during the war was with the Allies, and so we were just simply taking the side that benefited us most economically. And three, of course, the Germans had done a great job of making themselves look like fools by torpedoing passenger ships such as the Lusitania. Germany clearly, later in the war, becomes the bad guy side, whereas at the beginning of the war, it's really tough to gauge. Awesome question. Great. Nicole, why was the U.S. involved in the war, and why did we have to go? Nicole, $50 million question. Why did the U.S. get involved? I think, as I mentioned before, our economy was based a lot on war. The ammunitions trade was a big deal. And I think that the negative with making money from trading weapons is that eventually you will have one side or the other begin to torpedo and kill your citizens. And like previous events and events that would later be after World War I, anytime you have dead Americans, Americans feel a great deal of war fever. And that, I hope, explains it. You're on the right track. It's very frustrating to realize that we early on had no horse in the race, if you will. Okay. Were there more? Okay. Steve, were there more deaths in World War I or World War II? World War I would cost Europe about 30 million lives. World War II estimates about 55 million lives. A lot worse technology was available in World War II to kill people a lot quicker. Not only the atomic bomb, but incendiary fire bombs, the Holocaust, horrible mass deaths in World War II versus World War I. Awesome question, Steve. Thank you very much. Moving on, let's see. The portals were running slow. Is anybody surprised? Do you think that it was a domino effect that the alliances all wanted to show off their military? Absolutely. I mean, when you build a car in the garage that goes 200 miles an hour, you want to take it on the road. So the powers of Europe, this was James, the powers of Europe wanted to say, look at the great new weapons I've just built, the Zeppelin planes and the airplanes and the machine gun. Take a look and use them in the battlefield. Absolutely, James. Absolutely. Danielle, happy with the Batman reference. I would have worn the Batman shirt, but no. Yeah, we have, see them over there? Arkham City from the video game. Yeah. I'm a geek. What do you want? Okay. Anyways, okay. Horrible wars, of course. World War I, World War II, awful. And I appreciate your sentiment. We're entering that era where human niceties are few and far between. Okay. Why the U.S. got involved, Danielle, again. It's very frustrating. Emily, why did all the countries join this alliance? It seemed they really wanted to, and why did they have to get involved in the war? Again, the alliances were originally set up to protect you from the other side, and they were all based on agendas. Britain and France disliked and was jealous of Germany. Russia disliked Austria-Hungary. And if you didn't join an alliance, it's sort of like that old kind of high school situation, right? You don't want to be without a friend, and everybody else is doing it. Why don't you? And it's literally that juvenile. It's frustrating. Megan, thank you. Why did the U.S. get involved? I hope my answer is good. If not, post on the discussion board and say, listen, not good. Say more. Okay. Was World War I or II more devastating? World War II was definitely more devastating, Roman. Thank you. Brian, want and greed? Very good point. Tracy, 3 questions. Why did World War I start? It really started way back in the 1880s when they started to build weapons. The big competitions between Britain, France versus Germany. All the little ethnic groups in Austria-Hungary that wanted independence, and in the short term, the assassination of Franz Ferdinand was a big cause. Why is history so hard to understand? I think that the key to understanding history, Tracy, is to kind of be connected with it and realize that history repeats itself a lot, and try to predict those kind of events and find meaning and learn from history. It's very tough. I'm not an ancient history guy. That just gives you an example. But Tracy, good observation. Minor is that it was mentioned in 1914, minor conflict brought on the major conflict. Again, the minor led to the major because all the alliances were already set up. If you are angry at somebody and you're already primed to fight, what if they walk by you on the street and brush your arm? Major fight. Little event turns into major event very quickly. Okay, Danielle, again, great arguments about the preventing a war and the causes. Danielle, absolutely agree. I was just writing to someone else that I felt that other nations get involved to back the other up. And again, it all comes down to interests. It all comes down to, I trade more from this person. I don't want this person. Britain and France, the old guys on the block, didn't want the new guy on the block to do well. That was Germany. So they had a clear agenda. Why do you think when war broke out in Austria-Hungary, okay, Germany declares war on Russia, what was the first thing that Germany did in the war? Was it invade Russia? No. Was it defend Austria-Hungary? No. It was to invade France. Makes no sense. But it makes sense because France and Germany had serious hatreds. So it's sort of like they used the small events to pursue their big agendas. Money and power drove World War I, no question about it. World War II would be more ideological. The fascists, the communists, the Americans, the British, which we'll see later on. If you have any more questions, maybe I'll post another update this weekend. I'll certainly update questions on the message board. Hopefully, what can I show you that will prove my Star Wars, because I'm like a Star Wars geek. So a couple little things from my room. This is my room at school. So a couple quick things. I'm a big Raiders fan, and let's see. Do I have any? I don't know. Next time I'll bring some Star Wars stuff so you can look at. It's really cool. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Have a great day, and thank you for all the work you're doing. Bye-bye.